Shall lead them
to buy our merch.
Yes, dear listener. Yes, dear listener. Yes, dear listener. We are starting. That's a pretty cool effect, actually.
Yeah, it's true. Oh, we could put a light behind it. Yeah.
We are starting to do something really, really cool. It's by the big. We just been getting carried by DJ Nick, DJ Mike.
I know. Revo, he's back up on the list.
Big homie Revo.
Yep.
Imperishable Streams just had one. This is a director scream, dear listener. A director scream. Stream! By the way, I see a couple of you are still in YouTube land. You're going to want to get off of YouTube land because you guys know how we get down. We're going to watch a show. We're going to watch The Warning. And you guys know that we don't do none of the fluky stuff, you know, where we cut it every 20, 30 seconds. Okay?
So you know how that goes.
The reason reaction channels do that is so that they don't get murdered in the copyright by assailants like YouTube and the other fascist
or completely
record
shut
label.
Down, which is what we've almost done to our channel.
Correct. Our channel really was like one strike away from a shutdown.
Oh, we're done the one strike now away?
No, but we're basically seeing the straightaway ahead. We're in good shape. Okay, if you're on Twitter, no need to move because Twitter allows us to play full-length videos in their entirety of copyrighted material without a single bothersome situation. So if you're on Twitter, stay on Twitter. But if you're not on Twitter and you're not on Rumble, you need to go because in 2 minutes, we're going to jump from YouTube to Rumble so that we could play these videos and songs. Remember, we've got a warning song that's coming up. It's going to be an official video, I believe. So we have to watch that then. And then after that, we are going to start on the Fallout video series. Now, Lost Hate is the resident expert relative to that. So Lost Hate, we're going to be depending on you to give us kind of like a non-spoiler intro. I don't know if...
Where's Director Mike?
If Director Mike...
Oh, actually, wait a minute. Let me check Trello because he might have actually done his own little intro. Excuse me. Let me look. Give me time. All right.
Look at this. I deliberately held off watching this show because Mike said he wanted to do it with Vin and Sori.
Oh, cool.
Holy smoke.
That's pretty cool.
I think that's amazing, actually.
Yeah.
That's badass. That's exactly how those systems are supposed to work.
I don't know if you want to throw this up on the screen or not. Here you go. He said this is... Actually, yeah, it's this... Here, I'm just going to send it to you. Make your own.
Hello, Fallout
He said
is
stream
cool.
Photo, which we used in the thumbnail, so do whatever you want.
Who said stream photo?
What I just sent to you. That
Director.
Director.
Okay. So the director wants it. Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Okay, so this is pretty cool. I don't know if you know this happened, but Director Mike, is he in yet?
Yeah, he's in.
Okay, Director Mike was
Isn't
deciding
he the one that told
between...
you to put this up?
Well, no, his Trello listed.
Oh.
So he decided he was going to do another show watch along. You guys remember we did Wednesday, together?
It's such a good show.
And that was completely directed by
DJ Mike.
But he decided he was going to do another one, and he said he had Archero post this to the Discord channel so that way the village could actually vote on which show series they wanted.
Yeah.
So Archero posted it for him. Archero said, everyone, DJ Mike is going to host a watch along with Vin and Sori. It will be either Reacher Season 1 or Fallout Season 1. He's putting this up for a vote for everyone in Discord that wants to participate. Please vote by selecting one of the reactions below. R for Reacher and F for Fallout. Fallout won by almost double, so it was definitely a win for Fallout. Director Mike says, please enjoy this village voted series. Shout out to my dear villagers. Rock, flames, lightning bolt. Ad victoriam. Or maybe you know how to say that better.
I think it's toward victory or something.
Aha.
Okay.
Oh, these were the people that voted.
All right, now the first, we're doing the song first, right?
Let's see. Yes, the song is The Warning. Thank you. The song is The Warning. The name of the song is The End.
Guys, we might sign a sponsorship deal with these people. They're called Ghost. We haven't signed anything with them yet, but you guys know how I am with energy drinks, so I'm going to try it out. It's apparently no sugar in it. And this is
Listen, if
supposed
we
to
do
taste like
sign that
Warheads.
if we do sign that contract with them, it will be yay to you guys because they're gonna give us giveaways for you guys.
Yeah, and like I said, like I want to eat popcorn on these movie days. Like I really want that to be a thing. So some of you directors, not saying necessarily you have to do it, but sometimes it'd be cool for us all to be like sitting on split screens watching, well, to see you eating all that jazz. All right, guys, here we go. We're gonna go off of YouTube right now. Remember, if you're a YouTubian, all you gotta do is rumble.com, type Vin and Sorry in the little thingamajiggy, and you'll get to where
this is so cute.
we need to be, dear listener. Or you can do it on Twitter. But if you're on YouTube, we're gonna have to piece you out right now because we're about to play some. We're about to do about 4 or 5 hours of just straight official content, dear listener. If you are on YouTube, you are going to miss us in 5. You need to go to Rumble. I see 16 of you beautiful people still on YouTube. You've got to go to Rumble. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, Rumble. You can see all those people are now offline.
All right. I
That
sent you
looks.
the warning photo.
Open that door again.
Hey,
That looks so cool with the light in the background.
can you open that door wide
Well,
for a
I'm
sec?
sure.
Actually,
Look at
Here,
that. Look at that. That's
take
like
this.
that's like so weird.
take this. Forget about it. It's gonna be too complicated.
We'll do
We'll
it
do
later.
it later. Close that door, please.
It's just badass.
Thank you very much.
They like screwing with us.
Yeah. I was like, take this, and then I said, you know what? This is.
A place of business, you bratty ass kids. All right.
Okay. So I sent you this photo. It's super cute. They're like face to face, the two sisters.
Okay.
And that's part of what he wants. Also, up there. All right, you guys. The name of the song is The End.
Do you have a little intro?
No.
No. Okay. This is in the
Shout out to DJ Mike.
The End by the band The Warning. I'm pretty sure DJ Mike single-handedly converted all of us into
Warning fans.
giant Warning fans.
Yeah.
I've actually never seen that happen before on the channel. Probably the closest would be Tool, but Tool was already such an established band that, you know what I'm saying, it wasn't one person.
Yeah.
But I don't think I remember a time when, like, one person has believed in a band so much and, like, not just us, but the whole community. Like, Dwayne, unfortunately, you know, like... I'm pretty sure this is Dwayne's favorite band in the moment right now.
No kidding, really?
Well, I mean, the way he talks about them, like, you know, and you know, you can't help but agree with everything he says about it because they're such a good band.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think.
Plus, the entire like energy of the whole thing, being that it's the family working together, that's so cool. The sisters, that element of it, the fact that we were. Again, I don't even think that this would have necessarily have happened to the degree that it has if Mike hadn't have done those documentaries, because we were able to see like the beginnings of what they were doing and the growing, and so like you kind of like you feel like you've been around with them even though we kind of just came into it at this point. So I think you did a really good job like introducing them and like giving us like a kind of well-rounded, you know, understanding of who they are.
100, yeah, that's true. I think the
documentary,
seeing them in the background, seeing, and you know what's the Selena movie. I
agree, because sometimes I think of the Selena movie and then I'm like, wait, that was the Selena movie, that's not The Warning,
right? Because
the similarities of them being like when she was a little doing the music stuff, it reminds me of them. So I mean, we
don't need to broadcast it right now, but it is interesting. You don't really taste this.
I'm not saying anything until we get the sponsorship.
You don't really taste. Okay,
don't
guys,
say anything.
Here we go. The Warning. The name of the song is The End. Stars always seem to fade.
Uh-oh.
Okay? Stars always seem to fade. The Warning. Director Mike, let's do this, y'all. Song numero uno.
¡Listos!
What they're saying?
What are they saying?
I don't regret, wish I could forget
how young they look.
But there's nothing to be done anymore. I won't forgive myself, 'cause pity doesn't help anymore. This is the end. So long, my friend. Stars always seem to fade. It's a little too late to, with blessing hand, I make amends. Stars always seem to fade. It's a little too late to start over again. And they'll never know, 'cause I'll never say anything about the memories that live inside my head. They stay with me, they don't go away. They haunt me every night while I'm lying in my bed. This is the end. So long, my friend. Stars always seem to fade. It's a little too late to, with bloodstained hands, I make amends. Stars always seem to fade. It's a little too late to start over again. Ah, ah, ah. There's nowhere to hide. What if I go? This is the end. So long, my friend. Stars always seem to
One that
fade.
just did the solo.
Late to, with bloodstained hands, I make amends. Stars always seem to fade. It's a little too late to start again. Start again. Start Muchas gracias.
Otra means again.
Oh.
Otra. Otra. They were saying again. All the time. Encore. I'm like, why are you always saying that?
Oh,
bro?
really?
Yeah, now I understand. Come back to us. Okay, that was the warning. This song kind of blew me away because that rah type voice, I don't know what that is. I don't know what tone that is or whatever, but to me, that's part of their signature sound.
Mm-hmm.
That very strong, powerful voice.
Mm-hmm.
And I always thought, and you guys are going to kill me, it was the blonde one, which I'm terrible. I don't know their names, but I always thought it was the blonde one because the blonde one sings like that too.
Mm-hmm.
But this was like carried by the drummer.
As well,
You
yeah.
know, almost,
Yeah.
pretty start to finish almost. Like the other girls were supporting her on that particular song. Like she was carrying,
Mhm.
especially the chorus.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if people understand this, like how hard it is to play drums, be on beat, and sing at the same time. Like, to me, it's already a trick to have to be able to do this, but to be able to talk coherently while you're doing that and not lose your place is an incredible talent in and of itself.
Yeah, not just like mentally, like how difficult it would be to do both at the same time, but physically as well. Like the drums, like you see people sweating to death on the drums, and like I don't know, it's like it always surprises
the
me.
Shakira tone. I agree. Yeah, Shakira. Yeah,
This idea that like a lot of times people that speak two languages will end up apologizing to us because their English is not that good.
I know.
And I always like feel so uncomfortable because I'm like, I only speak one language. So if I spoke their native, you know what I mean? Like it's like these people are clearly better.
Yeah.
And so like here you have these girls at the same thing.
Yeah, all these
like,
European bands. Like I'm like, look. Sometimes, like, the sentences are run-on sentence, not perfect grammar, but I'm like, I don't freaking care. Like, this is a completely different language, and he's saying something, like, completely legible and poetic at the same time.
If we had to flip it and we had to speak your language to be able to communicate, I assure you.
It would just be communication. It would not be art. You see what I'm saying? These girls are going back and forth. They can do English. I mean, they're going to make a lot of money. You know your buddy, what's his face? The dude, the snitch. A dude that snitched on everybody.
Which one?
Who
was the rat?
Yeah, 6ix9ine, Tekashi 6ix9ine.
Oh, okay. So
he was a snitch. He was like playing out.
How'd you get out of jail so fast?
This gangster. Oh, please, bro. No, I mean, like they got him on tape. Like they were trying to kill him, bro. Like literally, they had him in the car. He was like 2 minutes away from dying. But he
really
basically he was done in America. He just went to Mexico and just stacked up millions and millions of dollars because he's he can speak Spanish. So he did an entire like Mexican record. My point is like these girls, man, they're set up like so perfect. But I'm just constantly every time I hear this band, like there's something else is blowing me away. Whether it's the subject matter, whether it's the way that they like the last song we did of them was like them talking about a family member watching another family member go through some alcoholism or something like that. But they wrote it as if they were directly experiencing the issue. But really, I mean, what I gathered from everybody was that they were talking about a situation in their family you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So how they're able to enter into the pain of songs that don't necessarily spring up from their experiences, I just think is a real
unique
gift.
talent. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and I think that's what, if you really think about like rock and roll and music and what it means to all of us as a community, it's like most of the time when a song resonates with us, obviously there's music theory reasons for why, but with metal you get that extra sort of edge of realism to the struggle. Like you're encouraged to enter into the emotional, whereas like in rap, like that's why people like Vaughn like stand out so much, at least to me, is because there's real passion in what he's saying. You know what I'm saying? Whereas Jay-Z was like extremely clinical, like who want to better say we don't touch, let us tack cheddars forever, live treacherous, all the etc. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just kind of like that's his affect. Like he's just calm and cool all the time. But in rock, it's like you're actually encouraged to like have your vocalizations and your expressions match what you're saying lyrically. You know, and that's not something that happens in the rap genre. I'm not saying one is better than the other, but one gives you access to exploring certain kinds of emotions that the other one just doesn't.
Sure.
At least in my experience growing up with it.
We've got who's this person's name? I can't.
Elgon? That's
Elgon. They said they have a lot of empathy, and I'm like, I kind of could agree with that, because even when the stuff is it doesn't sound like it's like necessarily like judgment, but more like this is a struggle that the person is in. And there was one, I think, that was like a relationship one, and then we had the one that was like about some sort of drug or alcohol use, and in this one lyrically I thought was kind of interesting, like the concept, because it says like some of the stuff, I'm curious to hear what you have to say about it, because so I don't regret, wish I could forget, because all the things I've done and all the things I've said don't go away, they stay with me like a constant loop inside my mind that's always on repeat. I know it was wrong, but there's nothing to be done anymore. I won't forgive myself because pity doesn't help anymore. And I thought that was interesting, because to describe forgiveness or forgiving yourself as having pity on yourself instead of don't you see what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, you know me. I mean, I it makes a lot of sense to me.
To describe forgiving yourself as having pity on yourself?
Well, yeah, because
Maybe because I always think of pity as like a negative thing.
well, I think it's being used negatively here.
Yo, I know, yeah. But I don't think forgiving yourself is...
Well, it depends.
Okay.
It depends.
Flush that out.
Well, look, we're living in a lot of like, psychobabble.
Yeah.
And forgiving yourself is one of the biggest things in psychobabble. But you can only really forgive yourself if yourself is the only offended party. You can't hurt other people and then say, I forgive myself.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? Like, so it's just like people say, look, I only focus on what I can control. There's no reason to focus on what I can't control. Mm-hmm. And that looks like a good answer at the surface. But underneath the surface, it's the next question is, how do you know what you're classifying as something you can't control, you really can't control? Or you saying you can't control it, that way you don't have to take responsibility for it. You can say, hey, I just let it happen because,
yeah,
I can only control what I can control.
Yeah.
Right?
That's an interesting point, yeah.
So, like, it to me, that's the same concept the other way around. Like, self-forgiveness, again, to me, in practical life, people are very, very adept at forgiving themselves. Usually there's, like, one major issue or one episode in their life where I think, in my opinion, if you really drill down, it's not really forgiveness, it's just shame. And so the reason they can't forgive themselves is because they think they have a permanent stain of shame on them or something to that effect. It doesn't really appear to me that people are like, oh, I did this horrible thing, I do these horrible selfish things every day, and I just have to forgive myself. It seems a lot more likely that people are like, they'll cut somebody off in the lane on the way to Walmart, and then they'll swear at somebody for taking their parking spot. That to me sounds a lot more realistic to the human experience. But there you go.
But I don't think that they're talking about something as like in small, I guess you could say, as cutting someone off in traffic, because she talks about with bloodstains hands I make amends. See, that was the part that I was like, I didn't understand, because she said, this is the end so long, my friends. Stars always seem to fade. It's a little too late to with blood. Oh. For some reason, I didn't catch what it said right before. Stars always seem to fade. It's a little too late to with bloodstained hands. See, that's okay. So I was reading with bloodstained hands, I make amends. And I loved that line. It just stuck out to me because to me, it was like really recognizing the mess that you made. Like, my hands are full of blood, but it wasn't about like, just like this, like sort of passive, I'm going to forgive myself. And, but it's like with bloodstained hands, I make amends. Like, you're going to make amends. And that's part of the process. But I didn't pay attention to the fact that it said stars always seem to fade. It's a little too late to make amends. So, I don't think it's too, I think that there are times where stuff is done or said that can't be reversed. And I do think that there are times where it's too late to necessarily make amends to the degree that everything is fixed. But I don't know. I think that, what do you think? I know there are times it's too late. There's nothing that can be done. Like,
you're asking me?
Well, I kind of, yeah.
No, I mean, we have these conversations all the time when I'm like, sorry, people don't change all the time. People don't figure this shit out all the time in this life. Mm-hmm. That, and I don't know if that's a sarcastic, cynical way of, front-loading expectations, but it just seems like an eternal truth to me relative to human nature. Like, we want to believe that, oh, this dude's alcoholic, he's beating the hell out of his wife and kids and everything, and he's going to have some deus ex machina, God's going to show up somewhere, somehow, and then, everything's going to be happily ever after, because obviously he has to change. But that's not true. Some people don't want to change. And that's why, like in the song, it's like, self-forgiveness is really just a form of self-pity or whatever it is. Because, we had people like this when we were doing ministry. People that really hurt people and ruined people's lives, like from childhood. Literally ruined lives. And still had this sense of entitlement that they're supposed to be treated a certain way or whatever. And if you don't treat them that way, they go into all this self-pity. Everybody's mad at me. Nobody likes me. Meanwhile, you destroy the life of a 12-year-old child. Like, so, like, my point is, like, the forgiveness thing sounds good. But I take the actual position of the song to where they're like, yeah, it's too late, man. And I think that's important to know. Like, as a parent, you know, my kids are, you know, one of my kids out there doing his thing. You know, he's 18, 19 years old. You know, it's like, look, man, them kids could just say, you know what? I'm good. I'll stay over here. You stay over here. I mean, I did with my parents. You know what I'm saying? So, like, there's a lot of things to balance out when you become a parent. And you have a very finite amount of time. And you got to maximize the time that you have with those kids to make the impact that you want. But I prep my sons too. Like, look, man, you might marry a lady and she's got this kind of problem and she's gonna have that problem for the rest of her life. And you gotta accept what comes with that. So I don't know. I think like I said, it seems a little cynical, like to take that perspective on forgiveness or whatever, like people forgiving themselves.
Yeah.
And you're probably more right than I'm right, but that's just kind of the way that I look at it. Like, I've been in a lot of different contexts, and everybody like I watch them when they're not forgiving a person. Like, I watch how they act, and then I watch how they act with themselves. I'm like, you're not like that with yourself. Like, I see what you look like when you haven't forgiven somebody, you're holding a grudge, and that's not the way you look like you're treating yourself. So I'm like, I don't know. You know what I mean?
I mean, I do kind of see, I see what you're saying, but I guess for me, I've seen other people, like, when it's not you and you're watching somebody else, anytime that somebody has any version of unforgiveness, it always seems like it embitters the person and it makes them, like, it just doesn't seem like a healthy way to live your life. Like, for your literal health, but for everything. Like, I just, that's why I think, like, you know, the Bible says that if it's possible, basically, like, try to live at peace with everybody, which the fact that it says if it's possible lets you know that, look, there are some cases it's not going to be possible.
They'll never know.
That's where I was going. Go ahead.
I'll never say anything about the memories that live inside my head. They stay with me. They don't go away. They haunt me every single night when I'm lying in my bed. Go ahead.
Yeah, that part I was like, I think that there are probably haunting memories that all of us have, and there are some cases where you can try to resolve those issues, and you can apologize to people, and they can decide to not forgive you. And obviously, if you've stopped the action that created that problem in the first place, and then the person won't forgive you, like, you have to understand, if you've hurt somebody, that they may not forgive you. But it's still important to be, like, to change as that person, but to hold on to it. Like, I think that if you've changed those actions, you're not doing that anymore, and you've asked the person to forgive you and the person won't, there's not really anything that you can do. And I think that at some point you have to try to let that stuff go, because to hold on to it is just, it's destructive. And I think that there are times where you have haunting memories that are connected to people that you loved and cared about that are no longer on the planet. And when that happens, and to me, that was sort of like what I felt when I read that. They'll never know because I'll never say, could be like the person that you hurt will never know because you're never going to say it, which I don't think is right. I think that if you know it, you should say it regardless of how the person reacts. Because you don't know. Sometimes when you say something, stuff can be resolved. Sometimes it takes a while. And, you know, I do agree that sometimes stuff can't be. But when it said, like, they haunt me every night when I'm lying in my bed, like, I just don't think that, I think anything that causes that, I don't think it's healthy. I think that, you know, and that's the way of, like, Christ, is that there's forgiveness. And and I don't know, maybe that's, like, kind of like the ultimate thing, is that even if people don't forgive you, or you are having trouble finding a way to forgive yourself, like, I don't know, I just feel like that's the devil's playground. Like, if you sit there and don't forgive yourself for stuff, like, I agree with what you were saying with the whole, like, if you say like whatever's out of my control is out of my control, and then you end up boxing everything in that category so that way you can excuse yourself for everything. I don't think that that's good, and I do think that that's obviously something that should be watched out for. Simultaneously, I've seen so many people not forgive themselves for stuff, and it's super destructive to them, and then they live their lives differently, and under like this person said, like a cloud, you know, every night haunting and stuff like that, like, and I don't think that that's good either. So I do think, at the end of the day, like, we live and die and rise and fall before God, and God is our ultimate, he's our judge. We live our lives here on this planet, but ultimately it's before God. So I think that God would want us to try to bridge that gap with people and say that we're sorry for stuff that we've done. I think that sometimes people assume, oh, they must know that I'm sorry. But I don't think that that's always true. I think that if you've done something, then you should say, I'm sorry. And I think that part of saying that I'm sorry is another way of helping to ensure you don't do that again, because there's something, you're not like this. And I feel like you probably can't relate to this. You saying you're sorry is very simple, very easy. It almost seems like it's breathing. It doesn't even seem like it's a big thing. But for a lot of people, saying I'm sorry comes with a vulnerability that, you know, probably if you were the type of person that was acting out in a way that would need somebody else to forgive you, you're probably in a prideful sort of ego way. And so to come around and say, oh my gosh, I was wrong. And then to humble yourself and tell somebody else, like, kind of come with that vulnerability and say, like, I was wrong. And you know that you're, like, on a balance with that person. Like, they could forgive you, or they could, like, nah, get out of my presence. You don't know how they're going to react. And part of the reason why you want that forgiveness is you're trying to bridge that gap with them. But you can't let that stuff stop you. Like, if you've done something, you got to just apologize for it. Yeah.
I think a lot of people have a hard time with, like, giving a sincere apology and having it rejected.
Yeah.
Then they get mad, which demonstrates that you really weren't that sorry. And, you know, like,
you might want
we had to
relationship more than you want.
We did this. You know, I did this with my kids. You know, like, depending on a certain, like, age range. If it's a certain age range, I don't say sorry.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say, hey, you probably need to make that right with your brother. And if they don't make it right with him, if he doesn't apologize, then I'm going to construct some sort of situation where he's on the short end of the stick, and I'm like, well, I mean, you know, it would have been great if you would have apologized to your brother. Mm-hmm. That would have been wonderful. But, like, yeah, you're right. I don't really see the big issue with apologizing when you're wrong. When you're, like, clearly and obviously wrong, like, I mean, like, I don't understand. But, like, it says here, like, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was cutting you off. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
It's weird because it's so easy for you to apologize that I feel like that you don't understand the toll that it takes on the rest of us when we apologize. Because, like, if your ego is there and you're, like, this vulnerability and stuff like that, and a lot of people are not, like, I think that people, it's easier for us to pretend it wasn't that bad than for us to say it was that bad and I'm sorry that it was that bad. But, like, honestly, like, it's almost like it looks so easy for you when you make an apology that it doesn't look like you can understand the cost that it takes for somebody else to apologize, because you don't get it because it's so simple for you. You're like, yeah, sorry, my bad, I shouldn't have done that. And then it's like you just move on with your day, where other people, which kind of is why I'm like, I don't think that, like, marinating in the, like, not forgiving yourself is good, because you'll say I'm sorry and you move on, and it looks like you don't even think twice about it again. Where the rest of us, like she's saying, it's haunting her every night when she's lying in bed. That doesn't sound like someone in your situation. That sounds like somebody in the other situation that, see what I'm saying?
Yeah, but that's why I told, you know, me and Razor had a little altercation.
Razor's 3.
He got in trouble for it. I said, all right, man, you're out of groundation. I said, don't ever talk to me about this to me again. I said, it's over with. You did it. You apologize. It's over with. I'm not going to bring it up. Don't you ever bring it up again. That's what I see the Bible saying. You don't keep a record of wrongs. It always hopes. It always trusts. It always protects. So, you know, when you're real in your personal relationships, I don't see the point in to me, if we're going down the street and the GPS says rerouting because I know that I missed a turn.
Mhm.
I mean, is it embarrassing to go into the U-turn lane and then go back?
Mhm.
That's
It's
all
as
the
simple as
apology.
that. It's as simple as that.
That's
for
all
you.
the apology. Well, no,
Yeah.
that's as simple as that for everybody. Like, literally, that's it. Like, you're in a relationship. You guys want the relationship to go this way, which is the way of harmony.
Mhm.
And then you went off and did something like this.
Mhm.
And so they're saying, hey, we got to reroute.
Mhm.
And you're like, nah, chill. Stay over there. I'm going to come to you.
Mhm. No, and I love the way that you explain that. I just think that like it can feel like, you know, though people will say like, if you fall off the horse, get back on. Like, don't. Well, I think that happens with like apologies. Like, I think when people wrong other people and you realize it, then you're like embarrassed and you like kind of stay away, and like that distance creates more distance and then more discomfort. When it would be like if instead of just rerouting, right, when you reroute, you keep driving in the opposite direction, you're just getting farther and farther away from your goal.
That is embarrassing.
Yeah, I hear you.
Like,
I hear you.
doing a quick course correction.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand how that's embarrassing or makes you a lesser person or being humble. How is that being humble? I want to get to Disney World. I was going the wrong way.
Mm-hmm.
It's not humility to turn around. It's not humility to apologize. You're wrong. Like, you're objectively wrong. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't get it.
Yeah.
What a deep discussion that these, what were they, 18, 12, and 17 when they wrote this song? Unbelievable. 9.8.
It's so funny how my numbers usually come one less than what you pick. 9.7.
I'm superior.
And I
Yes.
hate that happens, and I always want to adjust it, but I'm like, I'm not going to adjust it for that. Like, I got to stick with my number. All right, you guys, we are coming back with a show series, Fallout.
Sorry, 13, 14, and 18. No, 13, 16, and 18. Unfreaking real. Unfreaking real. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we're just coming back with some Fallout, so we're going to be watching the show next. So
Fallout is a show. I have my popcorn.
I have my ramen noodles.
Because when it's a director's screen, it's nothing but junk, people.
Yeah. But I got some water.
Commercial break. We'll be right back. DJ Mike and this bitch.
Woo! No guns. No violence.